Welcome to the channel. This is going to be a short video on how I mount my action camera to the front of my helmet, and in this case it's the GoPro Hero 11. I'm filming off the Hero 12. Now I've struggled with mounting points on my bike to make videos, and I've had various mounting points, like the selfie stick I've had on the bars, and I've had mounting points on the mirrors. I've used the chest strap, which is really good, but when you're on such a big bike like this, you know, I'm on an adventure bike here, all you can see is the tank because the position of the bike. So the chest strap isn't really good for me. I needed it to get up higher. The problem with the mounts on the bike themselves is the camera just goes wherever the bike goes or wherever the handlebar goes. And watching YouTube videos myself and the way people vlog, I love the way they can look around on the camera, and you know, they can see things and look at it. And so I really wanted to put the camera on the front of my helmet. Now I've had a bit of a problem there, being that my helmet is the full flip front. I'm using the Nolan M120 and it's a flip front helmet, and I can't find, and I'm sure there is one, and please let me know if there is, but I can't find a decent mounting system for the camera that suits me for this helmet, where I can use the GoPro Hero 11, or the GoPro Media Mod with an internal mic, and I'm using the DJI Lavia mic inside the helmet for good audio. So I've had a bit of a problem fitting it. On a normal helmet you just use the chin mount, bolt your action camera to that, put a mic inside if you want, and off you go. It's really nice and straightforward. When you're using a helmet such as this that wants to flip, and I like to use it in both positions, you know, I do a lot of miles and I'm on an adventure bike, I like the helmet up every now and then. I'm not always filming, but I like to give myself the option of having the camera on the front when I'm taking some videos. And this is how I did it. Now this camera is mounted to the front of this helmet, and it's rock solid, it's sturdy. I mean, I could really have to pull that to get it to move. And I've really basically used a few GoPro mount connections and a few sticky pads to come up with my own chin mount, and it sits absolutely perfectly. It's just below the level of the visor, so it doesn't affect me when I'm riding, it doesn't obscure my view, and it's in the perfect position with the camera itself right in the center of the helmet, well, just off center, but you don't really notice when you're riding. When I bought the GoPro and the accessories, I was really lucky to be given a case of mounts and pretty much everything you ever want to need to mount a GoPro wherever you wanted. So I've just used a couple of those mounts to come up, you know, rig up a chin mount. So basically what I've done is use one of the standard, find one, use one of the normal curved mounts where you can click it in and out, such as like, and you have the sticky pad on the back. I've just stuck one of those onto the front of the helmet at an angle that suited the mount. I've then used a couple of these swivel joints, and they just come, you can take these apart, you can make up all different combinations. So I've made an L, like an L bracket that comes off of the mount that goes onto the helmet. So that quite simply sits in there like that, and then you can put your fixing bolts through, and that really is about as simple as it gets. That is my chin mount. Then the camera sits on the top, and then I can just play with the angles up and down, left and right, and that's it. That's the camera mounted. Now this has a slight problem where a chin strap, you know, a chin mount will fit on both sides of the helmet, so they have two sticky pads that hold really tight. There's no risk of it coming off. Obviously I'm only using the one 3M pad, which is, I mean, that's like rock solid, that's not going anywhere. I put it in the wrong place the other day when I was setting it up, and I couldn't even pull it off. I had to break it. So that I'm confident on its own that will be fine, but always want to play safe. So what I've done is got another base plate, whatever you call it. And I've just put that behind the first one where the camera mounts, and then I've got one of these, if I can find one. I can't find one. There's one. I've just got one of these flat mounts. I don't know what they're called, but that fits in the mount like so it just clips in. And then I've got a couple of elastic bands, they're actually hair bands, women's hair bands, between the second mount and the mount I put on for the GoPro. And that's purely so if the first mount was to fail, the one the GoPro's fixed to, that gives me enough time for the camera to dangle on the elastic bands and me to grab it without it falling on the floor or hitting the camera like I've just done. Yes, it's just a bit of a safety backup really. So you can see that's the two bands I've fit together, one from the back plate, one from the one holding the GoPro. It's a little bit fail safe. And then I've got the third base plate which I've fixed to the side of my helmet, and that's purely just to guide the wire that I used for my Lavia microphone, and in this case it's the DJI mic, Lavia mic, and that runs from the camera. That's the only annoying bit, and I'll show you why in a minute. The wire has to stay loose. I can't fix it anywhere without putting loads and loads of cable through, so I'm happy for it just to dangle like that. It goes through the side of the mount just to hold it nice and steady, then it tucks under my helmet, comes round to the microphone that I use for my Cardo, and then it's clipped to the Cardo mic itself, which is like a solid bar, but it's a microphone where I can bend it around and manipulate into the shape or position I want. So the DJI mic's connected to that. That then controls my audio for the GoPro. I was using the GoPro without the mic, however it just wasn't clear enough, and then it was picking up too much wind noise. So now I just use the rear mic on the media mod. I use the Lavia mic into the helmet, and that gives me clear enough audio that I don't have to worry about wind noise or shouting or anything like that. So that's how I mount my camera to my helmet. And then because the camera's mounted where it is, it gives me loads of clearance on the front for my pinch point, which is I pinch those two red buttons. The helmet lifts up. If I want to, it's sturdy enough on there, I can just throw it to the back and I can ride with the helmet open. And I use a little sun visor. I will review this helmet because this helmet is absolutely amazing. Well, that's really dirty. Anyway, so I'm clear. I'm back to how I want to ride with the helmet open. The camera's still attached. The microphone's still attached. When I want to shut the front of the helmet to either block myself from the wind or to do some filming, I can quite simply bring the helmet over. The camera's still in exactly the same position. Click it down, and away we go. I'll start recording. Now the reason I say this cable has to stay loose, it's not really loose, I mean it sits there okay, it doesn't bother me. It's because if I pinch it anywhere or I try and tuck it up somewhere, when I open the helmet from closed, which is quite hard to do when you haven't got any head, I need this slack in the cable to go up and over the helmet. You can see actually at its highest point that cable's quite taut without being tight. It then goes over and starts to come slack again. That's the only way I can think of having this cable attached to the helmet. I did try and put the mic inside the front of the helmet, but when the visor's up, the helmet comes up, there's no clearance between the visor and the chin bar. So if you attach a mic inside the chin bar, it just catches on the visor. So the mic is tucked away outside of any moving parts of the helmet. So that cable just gives me flexibility to make the lid go backwards and forwards without having to keep unplugging it and plugging it back in. So it's just a nice, clean and easy action. So the camera's mounted in a perfect position. Cable's not that great, but I think it's okay for a flip helmet, full flip front helmet, to have a mic on the inside and the camera attached to the front without it bothering me or compromising the way the helmet works, I don't think that's too bad at all. So I thought I'd just do this video just to see if it could help anybody else with this type of helmet trying to fit a camera on the front. It works for me and it could work for you. Now the way I remove the camera when I'm finished using it, I just remove the microphone jack, put that over there because I'll tuck that away in a minute. Like I said, I've got the two mounts on the front, one that holds the camera and one that holds my safety bands for the camera. I remove the back clip first, which releases the bands. I then remove the camera itself from the front clip, and that's the camera removed. So you can see on the back that there's the mount, which I made up, with the base plate and the L shape bits of GoPro mount. And then on the bottom, dangling off, I have the bands, hair bands, that will clip onto the secondary base plate. So if that one was to fall off, it does allow me to have a few seconds, it will dangle like that on the next one, for me to grab it and stop it falling on the floor. So that's the GoPro and its mounts. And then basically, if I'm not filming and I just want the helmet as normal, they stay on there because they're fixed tight. I then just get the microphone jack, and I just tuck that up inside the padding of the helmet there. It stays within that loop, I don't mind that. I've got another little band there just to hold that in. That there won't bother me because I run my cardo on the side anyway, so I'm used to having something on the side of the helmet with some leads. And then that's just the helmet when you're not filming. Just use it as normal. Microphone stays inside the helmet. Obviously that's my cardo talk mic. There is my DJI mic that is attached to the GoPro, so that gives me audio for the videos. I did try audio for the videos on the cardio, but it was so hit and miss whether it would connect. I didn't bother, so that's the whole reason I'm using this separate mic. And then to put it back on again, bring the lid over. It's a lot easier with it closed. I just get the GoPro itself. I attach it. Ooh, get my elastic bands out of the way. There. Attach it onto the helmet itself on the front clip, and then I use the back clip, goes in the other way, to put into the other base plate, and that's it. That's me then set up ready for a ride. And I'll just bring my microphone lead out, which I tucked up inside there, and that quite simply just connects back into the jack port on the back of the camera, whichever camera you've got. And that's it. That's what, 30 seconds and I'm ready to roll for another filming session again. So yeah, very easy to get on and off. It's got my fail safe on there. I say the only real annoying thing is the wire, but we can't do a lot about that. And that's it. That's my GoPro action camera set up on a flip front helmet. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it helps somebody that runs a helmet similar to this and wants to run an action camera. Like I say, there's maybe mounts out there on the market that you can put straight on here, and I've just made real hard work of it. But I had all the bits and bobs. It was really easy and it works, so why not? I hope it helps somebody, and if you like the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.